Someone keeps visiting my house in the middle of the night. I'm a 24-year-old. I live in a quiet neighborhood in a suburban town in Queensland, Australia with my roommate. We are childhood friends and are both finishing our studies at uni. The occurrences started around 2 months ago, with the most recent update only last weekend. About 2 months ago, I cannot recall the actual date, I was lying in bed late at night watching a soccer game, drifting in and out of a sleep. I usually just use the background noise to help me fall asleep, as I would say I'm a very nocturnal person. I feel like I was on the edge between being awake and asleep when I heard an urgent pounding on the front door. The way the house is shaped, my bedroom is approximately 10 meters from the front door and backs onto the front courtyard. The knock startled me at first, as I was unsure if it was just in my head, so I literally laid still in silence to see if I heard anything else. I knew it couldn't be my roommate, as she was out of town for the week visiting family and attending a wedding. Shortly after, there was a second knock, just as hard, but no one yelled out or said anything. I'd like to say that I'm not easily scared and enjoy watching horror movies in my free time, but I found myself frozen in place, not able to move. No further knocks came, but I was too frightened to fall back asleep and didn't end up resting until around 4 a.m. I called my roommate in the morning, asking her if she knew anyone that could have come to our door in the night, but she was as confused as I was. A week passed by and I didn't really think much of it anymore. I sort of concluded that it was maybe someone drunk that mistaken our house as theirs. After all, it was a Saturday night when it happened. I work in a large chain grocery store doing night stacking a few days a week, with my shifts ending between 2-4 a.m. usually. It was the next Saturday, and I was approaching the end of my shift when my roommate texted me saying someone was knocking on the front door again. Even though I wasn't there, I was struck with the same kind of fear I had experienced the week prior. She reassured me that the doors were all locked, but was scared, knowing the same thing happened to me the week prior. She kept in touch with me until my shift was over and told me that there was no second knock. When I arrived home, the front yard seemed untouched, and there was no one out walking the street. I must reiterate, it is a very quiet neighborhood, with many elderly couples living on our street. In the morning, my roommate still seemed a bit shook up, so I put in an anonymous tip with a Crime Stopper service, but they never got back to me. Nothing else happened for the following month and a half. We were both going on with our lives like it never happened. But I stopped working Saturday nights, as this was the only similarity between the two occurrences. That was until the most recent Saturday. I was up late in the living room, watching some old Black Mirror episodes as the new season was just about to come out. It was around 1 a.m. and I had plans to go to bed after the episode I was watching. For context, the lounge room is practically right next to the front door, with the path to the door going past a large window. As I was watching, I saw the outside motion sensor light turn on from the bottom of the windowsill, under the blinds. I froze. Up until this point, I had completely forgotten about the knocking and I was stuck in fear. A short moment later, bang, bang, bang. At first, I was just going to sit there and wait for them to go, but after a second loud knock, I decided to look through the peephole quietly to see if it was someone familiar. My roommate had a few failed relationships that didn't end on good terms, so I assumed maybe, just maybe, it could be one of them. It wasn't. It was a woman. She was staring at the front door extremely still. It was like she was frozen, her eyes staring straight ahead with little to no expression. It felt like she could see me through the eye hole, just staring into my soul. I couldn't move. She stood there for another 2 or so minutes until she looked to the side and ran off. I called the cops and explained on the phone what had happened, and they sent someone out shortly later. They checked the cars parked on the street but came up empty-handed, as there was no damage, and told me to call back if anything happened again. The thing that I couldn't get out of my head was the way she stood there emotionless, staring straight ahead, and the way she ran off. She looked to be in her mid-30s, maybe 40, but was wearing a small nightdress and no shoes. Not only was this out of the ordinary, but it was freezing outside. Since then, I have ordered one of those doorbell cameras in case she does come back, but to be completely honest, I flinch whenever someone knocks on that door now.